Men leave good relationships for that single life because they want to have fun. They want to explore more. And sometimes they feel like they're not ready to settle down. And that comes from settling down too early. When they feel like they haven't gone out there and had enough fun or go to enough parties. And they don't want to miss out on that single life. They want to go to parties, have one-night stands, and hook up. The only reason why a man would leave a good relationship for that single life is because they want to sleep with more women. They want to have fun, and they want to experience how it feels to live that single life and go to parties and hook up. And they usually only leave if they feel like they can do better. When they feel like they can find that good relationship again in the future. When they think good relationships are just abundant and they're just out there. What they don't realize is good relationships are hard to come by. Sometimes you can only come by a good relationship once in a lifetime, but they usually learn that lesson too late. And the biggest mistake that men make, especially if they were in a happy relationship, a good happy relationship, is when they hear their friends talking about how fun the single life is. How much fun it is to do whatever you want, go to parties, go to clubs, and don't have to worry about anybody else. And how good it feels to be free. But what they don't realize is the grass is not always greener on the other side. People only talk about the good times. And that's why a lot of people feel like they're not good enough when they spend too much time online, because people only show the good times. They don't talk about the bad times. And a lot of times things are not always as fun as how others portray it to be. And I think people overestimate how fun the single life really is. It might feel good when you're talking to multiple women. You're talking to so many women, you forget who is who. You gotta scroll back up to those old messages to know who's who. While that might boost your ego and make you feel good at the moment, but it doesn't last forever. It might feel good to be out there partying and hooking up, but that's not how your life is gonna be every single day. What people don't talk about is how it feels when that fun runs out. You're not gonna be pulling unlimited amount of women. You're not gonna be talking to unlimited amount of women. Eventually the fun runs out. You might be talking to a lot of women and hooking up and having fun, but it still gets lonely because you have nobody to come back home to. You'll feel like you don't really have anyone that's there for you. No one that you really build a deep connection with. And that realization that none of them really care about you. And it gets really bad when you have a week where you're not talking to anybody, or where you're not hooking up at all, you're not having any one-night stands. That's when you'll feel really lonely and you'll feel really bad about yourself. No one talks about that. They only show the good times, all the fun that they have. But they don't live like that all day, every day. And when you're living that type of life, when you're chasing pleasure, you have to keep filling that empty void. And when you have that week or two where you're not getting any attention, where you have no girls to talk to, where you have no dates, no one to go to dinner with you, no one to watch movies with you, no one to sleep with, you'll feel really lonely. And sometimes it gets really dry, where you might not be talking to anyone for a month, or it's just casual talking and you're not really getting anywhere. Then you'll feel really bad about yourself. When you're chasing pleasure, you're constantly seeking for that validation. You constantly need to fill that empty void to feel better. You have to be able to keep getting girls, always hooking up to feel good about yourself. But even if you're nice like that and all the girls want you, not having someone to go home to, not having a girlfriend that really cares about you, not having someone that you feel like you can talk to and really talk about your feelings and build a life together, not having that makes you feel lonely. And you'll keep needing to fill that empty void. What people really want is stability, is really to have someone there. That's why sometimes you hear people saying they have a lot of friends, but they still feel lonely. They might have a lot of friends, but those friends might just be around them. They're not really their friends. What they really need is a friend that they can build a deep connection with. It's about quality over quantity. And that's the same thing with relationships. It's not about having a lot of women. It's about having that one good relationship that's going to make you happy. Someone that you can build a future with. And I think the worst part is when a guy really messes up. When he overestimates himself. And when he's in the relationship, he thinks that he can get a lot of women. That all the women want him. And when he leaves that good relationship, he realizes there are no good prospects. No girls want him. And then he comes running back to his old relationship. And the girl rejects him because he left. He wasn't worth taking back. And that's when he realized he messed up. He shouldn't have been so greedy. Greed is most people's downfall. When you already have something good, don't go looking elsewhere. The grass is not always greener on the other side. Let's say he's really nice like that, and he really can pull a lot of women. But when he's out there partying and hooking up, he's gonna be looking for the qualities of the girl that he left. He's gonna realize that these girls don't treat him as well. And he's gonna realize that he had everything that he wanted in his old relationship, and that he shouldn't have left, because he's looking for the girl that he left in all of the new girls that he's talking to. And he can't find that happy relationship anymore. And sometimes people gotta make those mistakes because people are too greedy. And sometimes you can't come back from those mistakes because good relationships are hard to come by. Sometimes you'll never find those qualities in a girl again. You should have stayed in that good relationship instead of trying to chase after your desires for more, thinking that you can do better. Sometimes you already had better, but you thought the grass was greener on the other side when it's not. And people learn these lessons too late. And even when they do get into their next relationship, they still think about their past. And all they want is to find that good relationship again. When they realize that the girl that they left did everything for them, actually cared about them, actually put so much time and effort into that relationship. And these new relationships just doesn't make them feel the same. And they miss how the good relationship made them feel. And they're just looking for what they already had in the past, what they gave up. I think the biggest problem that people have is they don't realize what they had until it's too late, until it's gone. And you can see that type of thinking process in almost every aspect of life. People never change until it's too late. They don't take care of themselves until it's too late, until their health really decline. And then they start caring about themselves. But it's too late. People always wait until things get really bad. Then they want to change. It's like sometimes things would be better for you if your situation was worse. You're working at a job that you don't enjoy, but it's not bad enough for you to quit and look for a better job. And you're just living a miserable life, an unfulfilling life. You're not chasing after your dreams. You feel like you have no purpose. But if your job was a little bit worse, if your boss treated you a little bit worse, if your boss made things harder for you, then you would quit that job and look for a better job, or actually chase after your passions. And you will actually feel like you have purpose in life, because now you're working at a better job, or you're actually doing what you want to do in life. And I think greed is most people's downfall. Sometimes they already have enough, but then they want to look at what everybody else has, what everybody else is saying about what's fun and what makes them happy. But a lot of the times they only talk about the good times. They don't talk about the bad times. Just like how people start having low self-esteem and feeling sad about their life when they're on social media too much, because people only show the good times. They're only gonna show you how much fun they're having. They're not gonna show you how much they're struggling. They're not gonna show you all their struggles. So then people start having a false sense of reality. And sometimes I see people in really happy relationships, but they let other people's thoughts and opinions affect their relationship. They start doubting themselves. It's like sometimes if you're already happy with where you are, don't let what other people think start affecting your own happiness. If you know what you have and you're grateful for what you have, if you're already happy, then focus on that happiness. Don't go looking elsewhere, because things might not be better elsewhere. Perhaps things are better where you are, where you're at right now. Happiness is not a destination. Chasing after pleasure, you have to maintain that level of pleasure. And sometimes you need more to satisfy you, because things are never enough. You constantly need more and more. That's what happens when you chase after pleasure. That's why sometimes, even when celebrities that already have the most beautiful women, it starts feeling normal for them, even though they themselves aren't very attractive. But because they were a celebrity, they were able to get the most beautiful women. But then it starts feeling normal. The girl of their dreams starts feeling normal. And now you want something different. Now you want something better. Sometimes you just have to be satisfied with what you have. Because being greedy, you'll just end up with less than what you started with.